In Activity 2, Plant Life Cycle begins, students begin to investigate the complete life cycle of a pea plant by planting seeds and observing them until they are seedlings. Students first plant their own pea seeds, then predict when the seeds will germinate. Finally, students observe the emerging plants and begin a class Pea Life Cycle chart. You will need the following materials from the kit: Activity Sheet 2, a planter cup with base, the Pea Life Cycle chart, gravel, Pea Life Cycle pictures, plastic wrap, rubber bands, pea seeds, potting soil, masking tape, and water sprinklers. You will also need to provide a wall calendar, a 0.5 liter container, a light source, a felt tip marker, newspaper, a pair of scissors, and tap water. To prepare for Session 1, fill a half-liter container half full with water the day before you conduct this activity. Add enough pea seeds for each student to have 3 seeds and soak them overnight to speed up the germination process. Make a copy of Activity Sheet 2 for each student and hang a calendar and the Pea Life Cycle chart where it is clearly visible. Make a copy of the Pea Life Cycle pictures and cut them apart. Set aside the pictures of the seed, sprouting seed, and seedling for use in this activity, and hold on to the pictures showing other life cycle stages for use in upcoming activities. Next, attach the bases to the planter cups and fill the water sprinklers with water. Cover a large work surface with newspaper to serve as the distribution station, and place the potting soil, gravel, seeds, water sprinklers, plastic wrap, and rubber bands at the station. Choose a warm, draft-free area where students can leave their planter cups, and set up a light source in this area for the emerging plants. To begin Session 1, display the pea seeds. Hold one up and ask, "Does anyone know what this is?" Accept all reasonable answers. Inform students that seeds are plant structures that contain a plant embryo and stored food. Let students know that in this activity they will begin to observe the life cycle of a pea plant by planting seeds and watching them grow into plants. Ask students, what does a plant need in order to grow and be healthy? Students should suggest that a plant needs light, water, air, and soil to grow. You may want to point out that until a seed sprouts, a plant does not require light to grow. Give each student a planter cup with the base attached and a strip of masking tape. Instruct students to label their planter cups. Then gather students around the distribution station and demonstrate how to plant seeds. Place a 2-centimeter layer of gravel in the bottom of a planter cup. Explain to the class the gravel provides drainage for the water so that the roots do not get too much water. Then fill the cup with soil to within 2 centimeters of the top and pat the soil gently with your fingers. Next, using a finger or pencil, make 3 small holes in the shape of a triangle, about 3 centimeters apart and about 2 centimeters deep. Plant the seeds in the holes and then push the soil back over the seeds and press down gently. Finally, water the planted seeds with the water sprinkler. Note that the seeds have been sufficiently sprinkled when the water begins to run out of the bottom of the cup. Allow students time to plant their own seeds and water them. Then instruct students to cover their cups with a piece of plastic wrap and to place a rubber band around the plastic wrap to hold it in place. Have students put all of the planter cups in a warm, draft-free place. They should then return extra potting soil to the bag, discard the newspapers, and wash their hands. Next, point out the wall calendar to the class. Invite a volunteer to circle the date of planting on the calendar and write in pea seeds planted. Ask students, what do you think will happen to the seeds? Students will probably understand that the seeds will sprout and small pea plants will come up out of the soil. Give each student a copy of Activity Sheet 2 and instruct students to record the date of planting and the date they think the young pea plants will appear. Point out the Pea Life Cycle chart and ask students, where does the life cycle of a pea plant begin? Students should mention the pea seed stage. Show students the picture of the pea seed and tape it to the top center of the chart. Write the word seed beneath the picture. Explain to the class that they will continue to add to the chart as they observe the life cycle of the pea plant. To conclude Session 1, return the materials to the kit and leave the Pea Life Cycle chart on display. Over the next several days, encourage students to check the planter cups to make sure that the soil remains evenly moist. If the soil surface becomes dry, have students water the surface gently with the water sprinklers and then replace the plastic wrap. About 3 to 5 days after planting, seedlings should appear. When they do, instruct students to draw a picture of it on their activity sheets and note the date that the young pea plants emerged. At this point, students should remove the plastic wrap from the pots and place the plants under the light source. Turn the light source on and instruct students to water and tend their young plants on a regular basis. Then collect each student's copy of Activity Sheet 2 for use again in Session 2. To prepare for Session 2, each student will need his or her copy of Activity Sheet 2 from Session 1. To begin Session 2, have students retrieve their pea plants when the seedlings are about 5 centimeters tall. Then redistribute each student's copy of Activity Sheet 2 and instruct the class to complete their activity sheets by drawing the plants again. Students should also review their predictions about what their plants would look like and compare these predictions to their sprouted plants. Explain to the class that a seedling is a small young plant and the plants in the planters are pea seedlings. Ask students, where did the pea seedlings come from? Students should have observed that the seedlings grew from the pea seeds. Then ask, in what ways is your seedling different from the seed you planted? Students should have observed that the seedling grows, it is larger than the seedling has leaves and a stem, and so forth. Next, ask, where do you think these seedlings came from? Students should know that seedlings sprout and grow from seeds. Refer students to the Pea Life Cycle chart and reinforce that when a seed is planted, it sprouts and grows into a seedling or a new plant. Then show the class pictures of the sprouting seed and the seedling and have a volunteer show where to put the picture of the sprouting seed on the chart. Write sprouting seed beneath the picture and draw an arrow on the chart from the seed to the sprouting seed. Ask a second volunteer to show where to put the picture of the seedling on the chart and tape this picture in place. Write the word seedling beneath the picture and draw an arrow on the chart from the sprouting seed to the seedling. Ask students, what do the arrows show? Students should say that the first arrow shows that the seed sprouts and begins to grow. The second arrow shows that the seed grows into a seedling. Finally, inform students that in the next activity, germinating seeds, they will dissect and examine the parts of a seed. To conclude Session 2, have students return their seedlings to their position under the light source. Remind students to water their seedlings as needed. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.